Hello and welcome to another video from CCSPLab. Today I'm going to show you how to access the lab remotely. Once you have created your appointment from ccsplab.ning.com, you will be given credentials and instructions on how to access the lab. But I decided to create a video just to show you what those steps are. But again, the credentials you'll receive once you have created your appointment. The first thing you need to do is visit us at https://ccsplab.dinedns.info, and that will bring you to our VPN portal, which you will log into to get access to the labs. You need to have the latest browser installed as well as Java for that browser and able to open up the application access window. Once you have logged in successfully to the portal, you'll click on the Start Applications button and you'll have this Java window pop up, which will show you which gear you're accessing. Now, the equipment within this lab is based on the CCIE Security V3.0 Blueprint. So the requirements that are needed to do those labs is what you have access to here. As you can see, you have switches, your routers, a couple of ASAs, and an IDS appliance. You also have a workstation, and I'll show you very simply very quickly, I should say, how to get access to that workstation as well. In order for you to access the switch, you can use your favorite Telnet SSH client. In this case, I'll use Putty. You can use Secure CRT, Hyperterminal, whatever, Terraterm Pro, whatever Telnet SSH client you use, by all means. It's at your discretion, whatever it is that you want to use. In order to log in, you're going to use the local host, which is 127.0.0.1, separated by the port number of the device that you'll be telnetting to or using the remote desktop protocol to. You will use 2001 in order to access switch 1 and hit enter a couple of times. And there you have access to switch 1. In order to open up another device, I'll use switch 2 in this instance. Again, I'll use Putty. And the IP address again is going to be localhost 127.0.0.1. My port number for switch 2 is going to be 2002. And now I'm in switch 2. So again, all the credentials will be provided to you once you've scheduled your appointment. Each time you schedule an appointment, your newest session will have separate credentials, so you won't be able to use the same credentials for every session. So the credentials will change. So just keep that in mind when you're accessing the gear remotely. Okay, I can close this out. I'll leave this window open for now. In order for you to have access to the workstation, you're going to use RDP or remote desktop. And again, it's going to be the local host separated by a colon with the port number. In this instance, the port number is 11,000. I'll click connect. Yes. And I'll use the credentials that were provided to me in my email after the appointment. Now, the reason for having this desktop or workstation here is so that you can get access to the ACS server in order to configure TACACS. You'll need access to the IDM in order to configure the IDS appliance, the ASDM for configuring the firewalls, and the VPN client for testing your configurations on the firewall or the VPN appliance, whatever the case may be. You're also going to use this workstation for testing the routes that you've implemented and testing ICMP across the different VLANs or across the different the different networks that you create. In addition to having access to this workstation, you also have access to GNS3. So something that you want to test out before you actually introduce it into the lab environment, you can test it out in GNS3 first. And you can go in and create your topology however you want to, and there are always there are a whole bunch of iOS images that are configured on there. I'll give you an example. You can click on this and console into this device, and again, this is a virtual appliance, but you can still configure it here nonetheless. And before you use it within the lab, within CCSPLab, you can test it here first. I'll close out of this. In order to log off this machine, it's very simple. All you have to do is just either log off the machine, or you can just close out this window by clicking on the X. And we can do the same here. Once your session is over, it's very important that you close out of all the windows and that you log off the machine or log off the devices so that the next person coming after you won't have a problem logging in. One thing that's very, very important as you stop your session or your session comes to an end, it's very important that you close out of this application access window gracefully. The reason I say that is if you do not, you will not be able to access this lab in the future from this particular machine that you're using if you do not close out this application access window. I've never found any way to fix it. Once you do not close this window out gracefully, it's very, very difficult, short of re-imaging the machine, to get back in and use that access again. So I'll make sure I close this out by clicking X, click OK, and again, once my session is done, I'm just going to log out, and it takes me to the logout page. If you have any comments or if you want to contact us, join the forum, leave a message on the forum, or direct message me at http ccsplab.ning.com for updates on new additions to the lab or status updates on the lab, whether it's up in maintenance. You can join us on Twitter at CCSPLab, or follow us by going to twitter.com/CCSPLab. Thanks for viewing, and good luck in your studies.